Later today, Senator, the Ninth District Court is expected to rule on President Trump's executive orders on immigration. What's the next step if the court goes with in opposing the president's orders?
Well, I think at that point, the administration will have to rethink this executive order, maybe go back to the drawing board. I would hope that they would do a much better job if they want to pursue this to crafting something that is both constitutional but also consistent with our national security
priorities. But they're saying
priorities.
They'll go to the Supreme Court. What will Democrats do ahead of that ruling at the Supreme Court?
Well, if they bring this to the Supreme Court, that's a matter that the court has to dispose of, has to hear argument on if they choose to actually take up this case. But the problem that I think is being missed in some of the debates is this is an executive order that has already made us less safe. Michael Hayden and others, national security experts, have already determined that. If they're really concerned about national security, they would craft and put forth executive orders that are going to keep the country safe, not just engage in kind of a political stunt.
There are several cabinet appointee picks that are going to be making their way through. Earlier today, Betsy DeVos was confirmed, despite vehement Democratic opposition. What can Democrats do, or who are, I guess, the other picks that Democrats are going to be targeting moving forward?
Well, I think we have a number of questions and concerns that have already been enunciated and put on the record with regard to Representative Price for the Health and Human Services, Mr. Mnuchin for Treasury, for example, Mr. Pruitt for EPA.
But do you have enough votes to block any of these, or no?
Well, we won't know until the vote time arrives. But I think that what Americans are seeing and engaging in is real debate about the qualifications, real debate about the public policies that are being debated, and also giving us the chance in the Senate to advise and consent and to make sure that we're asking
questions. So I want
questions.
to talk about that, because just the other week, with regards to Steven Mnuchin on the Senate Finance Committee, Democrats led by Senator Sherrod Brown, you being a member of the committee, boycotted this committee hearing, giving no warning to the Republicans. What do you say to people who think this is not how government should work? But show up at the hearing, have a debate, engage in the process. What do you say to folks who make that argument?
We could have done that, but we wanted to register opposition or even protest against what Mr. Mnuchin did not do.
But couldn't you have done that at the hearing?
Number one is he didn't answer questions. Number two is he gave answers that were found to be totally misleading, if not totally untrue. So when you're asked a question about how many modifications, like I asked him, modifications instead of foreclosures, and he says 100,000, it was more like 35,000. When you have basic facts like that are wrong, we wanted to make sure that the American people knew that we have real concerns about his nomination, wanted to highlight that. But of course, he'll now get a vote, and we'll still have debate leading up to that.
And there is a hearing this weekend, I believe, with what's next in the Steven Mnuchin nomination process.
Well, he's on a calendar now. He's likely to be the next one up after, the second one up after Senator Sessions for Attorney General. So his nomination will be coming up. We'll have a lot of debate about it, and we'll see what happens.
Final question, and I know you're busy, so we appreciate you stopping by Bloomberg, but with regards to the Affordable Care Act, I mean, a lot is going to be underway in terms of policy. What can Democrats do, if anything, to slow down this administration from their legislative agenda?
Well, the one thing I'm going to do especially, is to oppose repeal. Repeal is a mistake, and I hope we can stop them. But in the meantime, I've got to ask my Republican friends, you've had 7 years, it'll be 7 years in March, where is your plan? Where is your plan to meet the promise that you put before the American people? They made kind of a compound promise. We're going to repeal it, and we're going to enact something that's better. I'm still waiting to see what that plan is.